Exactly. And this video is white people, how you have been tricked into hate for hundreds of years. And I'm going to leave a link here, there, somewhere you'll look for a gentleman by the name of Tim Wise. And he will probably say this a lot more eloquently than I will. But basically, man, it's good stuff. And it's things that I've actually thought about, but he kind of confirms it with actual dates and numbers and statistics and things like that, but it gives you a lot of perspective. So let's just dive into it. Basically, before whites are considered whites, before you are all kind of married into this umbrella, kind of like blacks, because blacks and whites are kind of the same dynamic where all of a sudden it became about color. But before that, there was something called indentured servitude and slavery. They kind of exist at the same time. And when the Americas got started, there was a lot of farming and a lot of construction, a lot of labor to do. So what do? You get poor people to do it. You get the poor white trash, as they call it, from the European countries to do it. Elites aren't going to do it. Intellectuals are not going to do it. What do? You get poor white people to do it. Unskilled dunces, just dumb people to do it. Laborers. They say it, but that's what it was. So you have indentured servitude and some slaves there. And the slaves were, like, as with all slavery throughout time, prisoners of war or criminals or whatever crap you can come up with. But basically, indentured servitude lasts for 7 to 11 years. Once you're done, you're free. Indentured servitude. So that was going on. And while the elites were, kind of designing and carving up America at will, you had the white labor class, doing all of those things. Building, farming, doing all the physical labor. Slavery, there was some slavery there, but it increased a little bit as they were running, basically they needed more labor. So the cheapest ones to get were slaves. Get more slaves there. And then what the elites found out is that, if I use all slaves, I don't have to pay anybody anything, and I can just give slaves what? Because what do you pay slaves? Absolutely nothing. All you do is give them some food in the shack and you're done. So get rid of the white people, because who do you think you're going to have work on your plantation or your farm or your project? Slaves. I mean, here I have to pay people who look like me and think like me and act like me, money, versus like me spending no money at all and just throwing them bits of food in a little shack. I could do that. They breed, yeah, that's what they call it. So then they have children, and then there's my next labor class, and I can keep doing that perpetually until I die, and I hand it over to my white children, who will continue the process until infinity. That was the plan. Well, that was starting to work, but all the lower class, poor white people who were laborers were getting upset because they had no jobs and no money, but they kept seeing all these elites and these intellectuals and business people getting all of these resources and big houses and big properties and things like that. And they're like, what the fuck, man? Where's our shit? How are you doing this? So they literally started to band up with the black people. I'm like, this is not right. Of course, basically they're thinking about economics. So the elites came up with, like, okay, this is starting to be a problem, because rebellions started happening, outbreaks started happening, and things like that. So what they decided to do is throw them a peace offering, a little carrot, if you will. Give them a small piece of land and a couple of slaves and say, hey, maybe in 10 years you can get more. You'll be like me. And it's because you are the same skin color as me. You're white. We are in the same. These other people are different. Look at their skin. Look at the way they talk. They're weird. It became a strategy. Because what if they got into power like you? We can't make them as equal as you, because me and you are on the same page. You know what I mean? And the dumb white people were like, laborers were like, yeah, you're helping me out. That's right. Yeah, we got to keep those people in check. So now They're all the same. We're all white. It doesn't matter if we're German, Italian, Irish, from, London, from Spain. We're all the same hue, so we all have the same agenda. Meanwhile, the elites laugh because they said, okay, we just threw them a peace offering, and now they're gonna, think that because of their skin color, us black people, we're a threat. And that's what happened. And it's perpetuated itself through things like religion over the years, that, slavery was in the Bible. Then it turned after that into genetics, that somehow white people's skin was better than everybody else. And that's why even today there are the masses of white people who believe that all other ethnicities are a threat. That's why they're so scared of Arabs and, scared of black people and scared of Asians, but in a different way, more of an economic and financial base more than an actual physical fear. So, the white elites have done that to you. They fucking brainwashed you, gave you this distraction on hating us because of skin color? Really? That's the best you could fucking do. No, watch them because they're dangerous. They're going to hurt you. Yeah. This is where the total persecution, the distraction came in, and how you were being tricked into hating us. And for all of that hate, really, what have you done? I mean, the elites are still in power. In fact, now it's worse than ever because, the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryans and stuff like that. What's so funny is that they are still the poorest. You know what I mean? And that the rest of you white people who are out there, yes, you are cogs in the machine and you work hard, and they still throw you out carrots as far as promotions and things like that. It's a lot better, yes. But now these elites are so fucking brazen. I mean, look at fucking Enron, right? Now they're treating you like black people. They've never really given a shit about you unless you really offered something dynamic. But they've distracted you over the years, even with the media. And for all you conspiracy theorists that are like, okay, what do you mean? Look up somebody named Rupert Murdoch. Look at what he fucking owns, and then you come back to me. Look at how many networks and what his agenda is. And you come back to this video and you tell me what the fuck is up. But you got this whole white and black dynamic. They love for us to be divided, because if we're divided fighting against each other, we won't go after them and say what the fuck is up. Because black people, what we are trying to do is just trying to fucking survive. We are not from here, but we are here, and we are doing the best we can. And I'm sorry, we're going to need some elbow room because we were brought here against our will. You know what I mean? You other white people who have been generationally poor, and I do mean generationally poor, that you haven't, obtained, elite status. I'm sorry, It's the elites who brought us over here to work as a free labor class, to push you out the fucking way so they can get whatever the fuck they want. Now that we're all free, of course we're going to compete. They're using our skin color, and because we're different, as a device to keep you distracted, so you won't really find out what the focus is. Because really, it doesn't matter. I don't care what you fucking look like. The only time I fucking care what you look like is if you either A, I think you're a threat and you're gonna hurt me as far as physically look like you're gonna, fucking shank me with a knife, that kind of look, or B, I find you attractive. Other than that, I don't fucking care. If you do the work, you do the work. If we're friends, we're friends, and I have friends of all nationalities. And a lot of white people have found that out too. You know what I mean? Just over the course of many decades, that black people aren't so different than white people. We want the same things. You just want to live your life. Yeah, of course everybody wants to be rich, but what do you do to obtain that? Some people just want, to find the right girl, to find the right guy, to have this certain house, to have this car. I mean, right now, black people are just trying to survive, to be truthfully honest. Of course, everybody wants to be rich, but we are just trying to survive. So, wake the fuck up, white people. You've been tricked. Time to let that shit go. And look at the man behind the curtain. The one who's really got you bent over and fucking you up the ass. Anyway, exactly.